Hello and welcome. This is the course summary for Teaching Primary Science Human Spaceflight. It's been great to see all the questions throughout the course. I think Rachel's going to start off by a couple of comments.
Yeah, there have been some lovely comments throughout the course, and it's wonderful to see everyone really engaging with the ideas that we've been discussing. We really liked the links that teachers were making with English, especially story writing and researching, looking at the EVAs and also ideas for colonising space, which just really shows that space is a really good vehicle for using as a context for learning across different subject areas. And we both agree that we really like the idea of children being inspired by adults, like the astronauts actually playing on the International Space Station, and how that inspired them to then go off and investigate themselves. And again, how, teachers, we do try and do this as well in the classroom, but it's so nice to see just adults from other occupations doing it as well to inspire the children.
There was something around we really liked about the idea about has there been any fish in space or any fish farming in space? Interesting to think about that kind of idea and how the water behaves, because it tends to clump together in a ball. Could you have a kind of ball of water that the fish were swimming around? Could you have maybe a fish bowl where the water stayed around the inside where it sticks and the fish swim around the edges of it? Interesting idea. I don't think that anything's been done with that yet. They have had some life forms on the space station, but I don't think fish yet.
But it's a good idea to as well talk to children about being engineers and maybe looking at the problems, because this is a problem that future engineers and scientists will maybe need to think about. So, as Tom said, getting them to come up with ideas for possible solutions is a really nice starting point.
So we had a couple of questions around gravity as well, and weightlessness and microgravity, freefall. So there was something looking at how would you demonstrate microgravity in the classroom or freefall, and somebody mentioned the book and the feather idea. I think that's more around looking at things falling at the same rate due to gravity. So, for example, if you drop a book and a feather separately, obviously there's air resistance. The feather is going to take longer to reach the ground. But if you put the feather on top of the book and drop it, then you might find the feather might blow off. But if it works nicely, then the book will drop and the feather will drop at the same rate on top of it. To actually demonstrate microgravity, sort of free fall in the classroom is very difficult, because you kind of need to have something falling at the rate that everything will fall under gravity normally, and it quite quickly happens in the classroom. You can use things, or space agencies use things called drop towers, where they put little experiments in them and they drop them from a few hundred meters, and then they actually watch what's going on with little cameras on the way down. And this kind of links to an idea that somebody had about dropping a bottle and being able to see what happens to the liquid inside that bottle as it's falling. And you can do something where you have a bottle of fizzy water, and if you drop that, if you were able to film it on the way down, which is the tricky bit, then you will see that the bubbles actually, they're not floating up anymore to the top of the liquid. They're staying where they are within that liquid as it falls down, because everything's falling at the same rate. But a tricky thing to do in the classroom. And there was another question around looking at in terms of swallowing as well. How do astronauts sort of swallow in space? And it's actually, you don't need gravity to be able to swallow. You can actually, I don't recommend this, but you can swallow something when you're standing upside down on your head on the earth, because you have these muscles pushing the food down. It's called peristalsis. Yeah. So so that's okay for astronauts. They do have other issues in terms of fluid changes in their body, the chicken legs and puffy head syndrome, but actually swallowing the food is okay.
So we hope you've enjoyed the course, and we hope you've learned lots of things from it. There have been some brilliant comments. If you would like to join us for the next course, Exploring Space, that will start in spring 2020.
Thank you. See you next time.
Thanks.